And that concludes the weather for this week. Tonight the studio is bringing to you an exclusive premiere of Behind Closed Doors. Drake McBlain has been on a steady rise to power ever since he became a student at Overton College. Before his time at Overton College, Drake was a student at Big River College in Moline, Illinois. Being at a community college served him well as he could continue to work and take care of his family, whom he loved very much.
Having my brother home all the time sucked ass. He was always on me about getting my homework done, cleaning my bedroom, being responsible. But he did make some pretty delicious food. God, I'm hungry. I miss my brother. I can't do this.
Things took a turn for the worst in the spring of 2011 when Drake's girlfriend broke up with him.
It was a really tough time for all of us. Drake went from being happy-go-lucky to a really closed-off kind of guy. It really changed him. She came in like a wrecking ball.
Rough addiction soon followed.
It started off with light gambling, buying $1 scratch-off tickets. And then it was $5 here, $5 there. And then it got crazy.
This just in, we here at the studio have just gotten our hands on an exclusive interview of Drake when he was asked about his gambling problems.
You know, who you been talking to? My gambling is fine. I don't consider it a problem. You know what I mean? I'm winning. You know, as long as I get to put food on my table, like, who the hell cares? You know, you've been talking to my dad? Oh my God, my dad, super Catholic, right? Gambling, ultimate sin. I've been told that I'm going to hell at least 4 times. You know what I mean? Gambling, not that big of a deal. I'm winning. So sorry that you guys are losing, but I'm not. So that's all I'll say about that.
A change in school sets Drake on a better path, or so they thought.
Drake was awesome during his first couple of years. He had so much potential and he had a wonderful path in front of him. He was even catching the attention of the faculty and students alike.
Drake and I were in Intro to Liberal Arts together. We were in the same group in SOAR. We were best friends, but we were totally different. He got crazy busy, and I didn't.
He would always come in the room, throw his shit everywhere, plop down on his bed, and pass out. He never studied and never took time for himself. Like our dorm room after he'd come home, he was a hot-ass mess.
As he went into his sophomore year, Drake would soon realize that being the big man on campus would be much harder work than he anticipated, as a trip to the hospital turns his life upside down.
You know, I was the one who drove him to the hospital. It was crazy. I was just minding my own business, and he barged into the room and said, "I don't feel so well."
I don't feel
then
well.
He just fell right to the floor. I had a brother of ours and then myself carrying him to the parking lot so we could get my car. We just tried waking him up the entire time. I'll never forget it.
Well, we think it was a stress-induced collapse, but he never really told us about the collapse. I mean, just look at his lifestyle. It wasn't healthy, and it wasn't right, man. It wasn't right.
You know, it was a tough time, you know, that whole year. I'd bitten off way more than I could chew. I mean, it was all just, the stress was just piling on me, you know, like crazy. I hardly ever knew what to do. One of those days, my body was just like, you know what, no more. I collapsed, man. I fell down. We went to the hospital. You know, after that visit, I realized, took it as my sign that I needed to take some time to myself. So I sat around. I, didn't shower. I watched a crap ton of things on Netflix. I almost barely slept. It was pretty intense.
I kept telling Drake that he needed to find balance in his life. Balance between school and all the stuff that he was involved in. I kept telling him that he needed to find something, or rather someone, to help him do that.
Here I was, on this vacation, which most people would refer to as my recovery time, but forget them, right? But everything outside of here was going on without me, and I was falling behind a lot on my work, school, my fraternity. Things were starting to fall apart. But then I realized I needed to start getting focused again, getting back on the horse, so to say. And then I started talking to this girl, Bailey, and she was a fox.
Drake started dating Bailey in the winter of 2012 to 2013. According to his friends, it had quite an effect on his stress levels.
He was a new man, really. We actually had time to hang out. It was great. It was like we were actually friends.
It definitely made me question if girls were the solution to all problems, but then it all fell apart.
Drake started showing up late to work and would only do work if I caught him on Facebook. So I installed a camera in the office. I caught him on Netflix. He was watching an episode of How I Met Your Mother. And then the camera also caught our confrontation. Drake, I just saw you watching How I Met Your Mother.
What are you talking about?
Come on, I tell you, this is your project right here.
Well, I'm sorry. I guess you're just going to have to fire me. What do you want me to do?
Do you want this job or not?
You know what? Maybe sometimes I don't.
You know what? I think you should just go right now. Just get your stuff and go.
Some of the brothers tried to stage a coup. With Drake's behavior, he wasn't exemplifying the values of a brother anymore. He needed to get his life back on track, but I don't think they should have done that.
Drake and Bailey went their separate ways towards the end of 2013. Nobody really knows anything about their relationship ending, only that Bailey had left Drake.
It's not that I fell out of love with him, it's just that he got too crazy. He got obnoxiously busy and didn't have time to do his homework, so he started failing classes. I can't be associated with failure. As future HR, my reputation cannot be tarnished.
Drake had officially lost everything: his job, his girlfriend, and his presidency. Everyone could see the pressure building back up.
Drake had officially hit rock bottom. He was dismissed from the college his senior year due to his lacking grades, and he was unable to transfer credits he earned to other schools. With an overwhelming amount of student loans to pay back and his credit dwindling, Drake was forced to move back to his childhood home, where he now lives in his mother's basement.
As we conclude tonight's broadcast, we want to remind you that it's never too late to help a struggling college student. If you or someone you know has been experiencing stress, moodiness, or all-out laziness, call the number at the bottom of your screen. From all of us here at the studio, good night.